Hello, everyone. I would like to introduce you today, Director of Engineering Data Science from Megaslab, Robert Rodden. He, among other things, is involved with or known for concrete materials. Adding to what I just introduced you to our audience with, Robert, would you like to tell them more about yourself and what you think have been your key contributions to the industry at large?
So I've made a career of helping people improve concrete infrastructure. I spent about 9 years with the American Concrete Pavement Association and was working internationally at a research center in Lyon, France. I've been fortunate enough to work as a civil engineer in over 40 states in the US, over 50 countries globally. And it's a commitment to trying to cross boundaries. It's really the case that too often we innovate within our little bubble, and I've been focusing to try to break down those barriers and get people talking to make the concrete world more efficient, less costly, and better performing.
Oh, that's amazing. And Robert, what prompted you to attend our recently concluded Real Estate and Construction Conference?
Now, with COVID happening, I was kind of itching for an in-person conference to some degree. You're always trying to build a network. You're trying to meet new people. And being somebody who used to travel 80% of the time plus for work, I really wanted to go to a conference. This one came together at the right point in time. The agenda looked solid. It was strong on the construction side, and it was inclusive of real estate at the same time. I didn't really fully understand how much was going to be commercial real estate versus more of the residential space, but Megaslab as a company has been pretty solidly growing within the commercial space. So it certainly introduced some new opportunities, another vertical that we were looking to expand into. And on the construction side, getting into the BIM modeling and some other aspects that are kind of emerging and getting into practice type technologies, it was a very fruitful effort for me.
That's amazing. And how would you rate or summarize your experience at the in-person event, especially in the times of COVID? Robert, we would love for you to speak in terms of both. I mean, the learning aspect and, of course, the networking opportunities.
So networking opportunities, there wasn't too much on this. I mean, it was a solid program, and I went to as much as I could. It was the blocks of time were focused on real estate for a while, then construction for a while, and there were some people that would come in and out of things, but I tried to attend both as much as I could. For example, on the real estate side, there was a gentleman who I met who had been involved in a startup where they're using blockchain to kind of fractionalize the ownership of commercial real estate assets. So you can become an investor in a parking garage or a distribution center or assets that you would never have access to as an individual investor. And I'm actually now an investor in his company because I met him there and understood his business. So perfect example of both understanding new technologies, adoption of new technologies, and meeting the people making the change.
And did you walk away with any contracts or potential deals?
I have some potential leads. The nature of construction is there's a fair amount of time from just scoping, exploring, doing all the engineering work, and then getting to construction. So we do have some leads that are in our pipeline now that weren't there before. Absolutely.
That's great. Robert, my another question for you is, were you satisfied with how we as organizers handled the unfortunate postponement of the event a few times due to COVID? I mean, for the sake of our upcoming events and its attendees, do you mind sharing what are your thoughts during the entire process?
Yeah, so the conference originally had a set date that's nature, and it got delayed a couple of times. But there was a strong commitment to making this conference happen in person. It was the case that it was clear and constant communication anytime the expectation was changed. So while I've had other conferences, other international ones, I have one next week that's an international conference I'm speaking at that is now just virtual. But this conference happened in person, and I'll tell you definitively, it would not have been as meaningful of an experience for me had it just been a virtual conference. Having us get together in person was core to this success.
And lastly, how likely are you to attend the next edition? And would you recommend our event to your friends and peers from within the industry?
I would definitely recommend the conference. The parallel conferences going on at the same time. There were some that were more on healthcare.
Mhm.
So focused on the real estate and construction one that I would walk by the other ones, but the exhibit hall was a common space. So even though I was in my silo, there were other silos of similar practice there, and I got to meet some people that were in different applications that I otherwise wouldn't have met. And I guess I also saw this being the first time that there was the real estate and construction conference, walking by these other groups and talking to them. Some there's a real commitment to kind of expand the scope of the conference for each of these areas of focus and continue to raise the bar as far as what the offering is and the individuals that they have involved. So I'll say the first event was exceptional. If the second event is same or better, which I would absolutely expect from this group, then I would recommend attendance at this conference.
Great. Thank you so much, Robert, for gracing our event with your presence. And definitely we look forward to seeing you in our upcoming events.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time today as well, and have a good one.